Good morning, everybody. I hope I'm not going to be freezing for some reason. It seems like there's a lag, but it is Monday morning. It's our first Monday in February, and okay, there I am. It is. We woke up to a snowy morning, and my chickens have been having a little hard time with that. They don't like to go out in the snow. This morning, I actually pulled out this necklace. I haven't worn it in a long time, but what I did is I made a necklace with a bunch of charms. These charms are from back when my son was first diagnosed with autism, so I got a couple autism charms. And then I have this heart that I had engraved. It says healing takes time, but then to add a little color, I have this heart. Maybe I should be showing you this next week on like by Valentine's Day, but it's still February. This pink heart one. This is a pink jade that I got when I was in Guatemala. So I just kind of have all that together. So that I guess I should wear this all month. It should be my love necklace. Anyway, I have two things I want to share with you today. First, I wanted to share with you my BioCore that kind of goes with the scanner I was talking about last week, just because I forgot to talk about it. And also, one of my friends wanted me to start talking about minerals. So I'm seeing a notice that my frame rate is too low. So I hope that you guys can see this in good time. Otherwise, I'll have to redo it and just post a video. But my friend wanted me to talk about minerals. So today we'll start a series on minerals. There's so much to unpack. I have this huge binder of when I took this course on minerals. So that can just take us forever. So we'll just unpack that a little bit at a time. So first, let's talk about the BioCore. The BioCore, okay, so in our scanner, I mentioned that it's scanning your energy, and you can look at your chakra and you can see your chakra alignment. So on that tab, if you were to know somebody and you were to do a scan, you would be able to generate and download an 8-minute sound file. And what this sound file is, it's looking to balance, it's helping to balance the chakras. So if one chakra is like way over here, the way that it's balancing to push it more in the center. So that sound file, you can put it on. This is a BioCore. It's a set of headphones with this little box thing, and it's the box. What happens is this is what splits it into right and left. Now, the way I suspect that if you already have some kind of a system that can split the sound into right and left, where then maybe, I don't know, maybe it can work on that or not. Because if you put it into regular headphones, the sound comes equally into both ears. But the sound that's generated, what it's doing is, if like you have some chakras over here and some chakras over here, then it's going to push some sounds into one ear and some sounds into the other ear to try to, like for binaural beats. And this also has this device, and you put it like, on your head. It's for bone conduction. And so it's just a different way. But then what we do is we can take this and the same device, and we put it into this plate, and then at the very end you can run the sound file. You put a glass of water on it, you run the sound file on it again, and then you can infuse your water with frequencies, and then you can drink it. And that's just like an added I don't know, frequency boost or whatever. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I forgot. But today I wanted to start talking about minerals. So first of all, what you need to, I guess from a big picture point of view, you need to know that there are macro minerals and there are micro minerals. And so the macro minerals are like what we consider the electrolytes. That's the calcium, the magnesium, the sodium, and the potassium. And those are like the big minerals. So when you take a tablet, those are really big. Then you have your micro minerals, which are your trace minerals and all the other minerals. But there's 3 levels. So the first level of minerals, I guess we could consider maybe the most important. I mean, they're all very important, but the first levels, the calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium. The second level minerals are your copper, zinc, phosphorus, selenium, boron, and lithium. That's your second level minerals. And then all your third level minerals is your chromium, cobalt, molybdenum, manganese, rubidium, vanadium, and all the other, I'm sure there's a bunch of, I know there's like 80 trace minerals or something or more. So, but those are your three levels that you're kind of focused on. So if you're taking, so if you do a hair tissue mineral analysis or some kind of a mineral test, you will see these kind of broken up into these categories. So the calcium, one thing you have to know too is minerals, or some of them in specific, they balance each other. So you have the calcium and magnesium, there's a ratio, and so when one's high, you want them to be balanced. One can be high, it can make the other one low. Sodium and potassium too. So you want them to be in a certain ratio where you want, for example, you want the sodium and potassium to be in the right ratio, because if one is more than the other, then it can be inverted ratio, and so if it's inverted, then it can cause problems too. So things like, for example, copper and zinc, very much on this like seesaw. So if copper is high, if the copper is too high, it pushes zinc too low, or vice versa. And we want, and you can be toxic in you can have excess of any mineral, even though it sounds like it's a good mineral, and you can be depleted in any mineral. So you always want to maintain a balance, because, for example, copper, if copper is too high, it can cause anxiety, and anxious, being wired. If zinc, if copper is too low, you can be like lethargic, or so you want to have everything in balance. So today I wanted to talk about calcium, but actually, I'll go ahead and talk about it. So calcium, we're just going to start with the first one, and there's a lot of misconceptions about calcium. Calcium is a structure element, right? So most of the calcium should be in your bones and your teeth. Okay, so it's a element that's supporting the structure. Calcium does do other things in different places, but if it's not there in the bones and in the teeth, the amount that needs to be there, then it causes a problem, because then what's happening, it's free floating, and it's floating around your body, and it's causing havoc. But calcium also does control the nervous system, the contraction of muscles. It helps maintain the pH in the body. It helps reduce lactic acid buildup from like exercise. It has an inhibitory effect on the thyroid hormone, and insulin release is dependent on it. So calcium should push into the cell. When calcium goes in the cell, the insulin should get out of the cell. Like I said, you can have an excess or you can have a deficiency. If you are in excess, that's more common and it's more problematic. Well, they're both problematic, but it's much more common for people to actually have calcium excess in their body than to be deficient. And so the you know what, I was going to tell you what, and I didn't, hold on just a second. I thought I wrote on my list all the things that can happen. So here's my giant binder of minerals, okay, but all the things that can happen with an excess of calcium. I thought I made a list of it, but I guess I didn't. Okay, so If there's a deficiency of calcium, you can have histamine allergies, hypertension, anxiety, type 1 insomnia, adrenal hyperactivity, hyperthyroidism, and hyperkinesis. And if you have an excess, which is usually the problem, you can have excessive thirst, muscle aches, memory loss, tendinitis, depression, hearing difficulties, fatigue, joint stiffness, weakness, restless leg syndrome, constipation, and kidney stones. And then the one thing too is to know that calcium competes with certain minerals, and especially it competes with like lead. And so if calcium is not in the bones where it needs to be, lead will go into the bones and take its place. It also competes with things like iron and different minerals. But synergistically, it has a synergistic effect with vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, magnesium, copper, stomach acid, and dietary protein. Now, magnesium actually also can be antagonistic, so it needs to be in balance, then they help each other out. But if they're not in balance, then the magnesium can be competing with the calcium. All right, so then if we want to talk about what supplements, so how would you supplement for calcium? There's many different kinds, because you'll go to the store and you'll see calcium carbonate, calcium citrate, calcium, and you're like, okay, so what kind of calcium do I take? All right, the instructor for this course said that calcium lactate, pyruvate, and bone meal were the 3 most absorbable forms of calcium. Also, I know from my own other research that calcium citrate is really good for oxalates. So oxalate are like little tiny crystals that go around your body. They're very sharp, and they basically, it's an acid, but it forms these crystals, and it can help make up kidney stones. Kidney stones kind of can be formed from a couple different things, but they're very sharp, and they can cut into your connective tissue, and all sorts of problems. So if you have a problem with oxalates, because oxalates is in things like almonds, spinach, kale, and a bunch of things. A lot of the things that we were probably eating, so we might be getting too many oxalates, plus our own bacteria can be excreting oxalates. So some people are high in oxalates because of what they eat. Some people that doesn't bother them, and some people are high in oxalates because of their bugs, so if you have dysbiosis. And some people, oxalates isn't an issue. But if you happen to know that oxalates is an issue, calcium citrate, anything with a citrate on it, helps bind to oxalates and helps get it out of your body. Also, calcium glucarate, that I'm taking that one right now. That one prevents like recycling of your hormones and environmental toxins. So it helps kind of bind to those and excrete those, so you're not recirculating kind of toxic stuff in your body. And then AlgaeCal, from a different really reliable source, says that AlgaeCal is like kind of one of the best. And it's not just calcium, it's like calcium, magnesium, boron, because boron is really important in for your bones too, and vitamin. I think the AlgaeCal has vitamin K. Vitamin K and boron are really important for getting calcium back into your bones where it belongs, and not like roaming around your circulatory system causing like arteriosclerosis or something. So anyway, that is calcium in a nutshell. I have just this morning, probably because I was searching, and you know how the algorithms are, but I saw there was a coupon for AlgaeCal just right in my feed this morning, so I put it on my page, or my profile. So there, I think it's for 7 days. So if you want to try, I have not tried AlgaeCal, but it's kind of the next one on my list that I want to try, because it is made up. It's a natural source, and it's made up with some really good things that work synergistically together. So that's on my profile. So there's a coupon for that. If you're interested in a hair tissue mineral analysis, I'll talk more about that on another day. But you can. There's a link. There's a link in the description, or I'll put a link in the comments where you can sign up, and then I can send you one of those. All right, so on Friday we will meet again, and maybe we'll probably go into magnesium. And I will see you later. Hopefully this wasn't too choppy, and if so, I'll have to record another one and just put it on my feed.